Garrison, go ahead and take that because I know you had talked about, specific to the front four. So
Yeah, so I actually don't necessarily disagree with Sean. The only where I'm at with it is it just depends on when we do it. Do it more strategically. Like on those
Mhm.
situations where we had, so if you had them at, let's say it's 2nd and 7, that's a time when I'm like, oh no, don't bring the house, but send two extra,
Yeah.
because they're either gonna, like, two things are gonna happen. They're gonna run the ball to get, see if they can get 3-4 more yards and make it a 3rd and short, or they're gonna try and maybe try and get like a 5 to 10-yard route concept between the receivers. That's when I'd be like, okay, have your corners impress 3 to 5 yards off, and then send some guys like exotic stunts and send a few. But no, yeah, I mean, if it's successful, do it, But you gotta hope that your corners are on those receivers like glue.
And that's kind of where, I do want to see them bring some pressure, like they've done, where they can bring two extra guys, maybe bring in a stunt, to help. Not because Sean's right about the offensive line. Our offensive line was very comfortable. They seemed to know exactly where Ohio State's guys were coming from, and they built a huge pocket where Gabriel could, step in. He could step into all of his throws. He really didn't face much pressure in that game at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to get him moving a little bit, and that we've seen that's when he makes those mistakes near the red zone. I point to that Michigan State game. He had two interceptions in the red zone in that game, and it's because he was rolling out of the pocket trying to make something else happen, and then he tried to force some throws. So
Mm-hmm.
he does have the tendency to, make those mistakes if you can fluster him, but I don't want to see them necessarily bring in, 7 or 8 guys, on a first down or anything like that. I agree with you. It's got to be situational, and it's got to be um, what I could see happening. I think this is gonna be a fascinating chess game, quite frankly, between Oregon's
Oh
offense
yeah.
and Ohio State's defense, because I could see them start bringing in blitzing, start
Mm-hmm.
bringing in some blitzes, and all of a sudden Gabriel takes off because there's gonna be an open area for him, and Ohio State doesn't have a spy, and all of a sudden he starts getting 9, 8 yard chunks, and then they're gonna have to adjust it.
He can do it. He did
Yeah,
it
he
against us
certainly
with
can.
20 plus.
He certainly can. So I think I do think the front four is going to have to bring pressure by themselves at some points in this ball game,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also going to. I mean, they're going to keep bringing extra guys just because it will be different, and I do think it can fluster even a guy like him in certain down and distances.
Let's go to the offensive side for a second.
Yeah.
How many targets do you want Jeremiah to have, or how many do you think he should have?
As many as possible. uh, Look, in the first game, he had 9 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. I
Mm-hmm.
think he needs to be around a similar vein in that area, um, because he's the best player we have, quite frankly. And you want to get
Right.
him, you want to get the ball to him as much as possible. I mean, what do you think?
I would say somewhere around the 10 number would be nice. I would have to assume that something I actually want to see. They've this season he's done a lot of reverses. I wonder if they're saving something out of that. Uh, but a name that I really want to see, like, even though I want Jeremiah to get around, like I would say 8, 9, or 10. I think that Cardinal Tate needs to have a pretty good game. In that first one, he wasn't targeted a lot, and he hasn't been targeted a lot this season. But I think that for him being the third guy that we usually go to, and I know, like you might say, we don't have any wide receiver 2s or 3s. We have wide receiver 1s on our team, which I understand that. I believe that also.
Yep.
I think if Cardinal Tate is able to get going in this game, that's a good sign, right? That's a good sign for Ohio State.
I agree with you. I also And I mean, let's make no bones about it. I mean, everyone on the offense is going to have to play their best because they've got an explosive offense on the other side that's going to be tough to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I you want to get Jeremiah the ball as much as possible, and I agree with you as far as those end arounds go. They don't have to throw it to him necessarily 10 times, but just try to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
So if it is an end around, quick wide receiver screen, something like that. So they can go ahead and have that threat of just the ball in his hands, kind of like when Braxton Miller was an H-back. Just if someone like Jeremiah just has the ball in his hands, good things
Mm-hmm.
are going to happen. So I do think Chip Kelly is probably going to get creative, in this game based on. I quite frankly, I think they probably left a lot of stuff in the tank from the Tennessee game that they didn't need to empty because of how quickly that game got out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if this game ends up, and I think we both expect it to be close, then I think we're going to see some stuff maybe we've never even seen before.
Now, most definitely, and then also just taking away what they did in the last game. Will is very comfortable when he gets on the outside, running, throwing the ball on the run. I thought that was really good, smart of Chip Kelly to do that. It looked as though guys are running scot free. Now, do I think they're going to do the same against Oregon? Because no, Oregon's secondary is better than Tennessee's. 175 pass yards per game that they give up, which is really good. It's really good. So, but I just think that when we get the pocket moving, because we're not so much, I think that our offensive line is not as good when their feet are set. When they're sitting there and he's in the pocket. Now, can they do it? Yes. Like even though we've been bashing on our offensive line all game, for some odd reason they've been better at pass blocking than they have been run blocking. But you get him moving. As we talked about earlier, move Jeremiah. I don't think there's anyone that can keep up with him on this defense when he's running across the field. So and that showed in the first game, because I remember one of Jeremiah's his only touchdown in that game. Will Howard got out of the pocket, rolled to his right. He's running right across the field from the left side and gets a touchdown. So I think that would be the way to go. And also, of course, getting Emeka the ball. That's you got to get him the ball.
Do you expect Ohio State to do more in the quarterback run game? Because we really haven't seen that all season, and we saw Kansas State has got the capability to do it.
Yes, I if the over under was 6, I would take it.
Okay.
I would take it. I
Now,
think
are you talking designed runs, or are you talking like total, including scrambles?
total runs, scrambles.
Okay. Okay.
Design runs probably around 2 or 3. Against Tennessee, I think he had 2 design runs in that game, and they worked out very well. I mean, Will Howard can run the ball.
Yeah, he's a fast dude.
I refer to it all the time. I mean, the dude ran 70 yards for a touchdown against Texas 2 years ago. So he has the capability to do it. So
in the spring, they showed he could run for over 20 miles an hour. I mean,
yeah,
he was.
When they said he was the fastest quarterback, I was amazed.
Yeah, he was, and I do think this is the kind of game where we could see them use him more in the run game, just because again, it's going to be a really close. Like these two teams are evenly matched as far as talent is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time where I felt like Ohio State is not the more talented team on the field. So it's Oregon's undefeated for a reason. They're a really freaking good team. So
the best team all year, bar none, none,
for sure. And they deserve all of the flowers that they get because no one's beating them. So this is the kind of game where, and we talked about this last week against Tennessee. You can't come out scared. You got to kind of go no holds barred. And if you lose because you're being too aggressive, that's something I can live with.
Yeah.
And
like this comment from Montana 808 Beats.
Yeah.
Are you guys scared of this game? And are you thinking of how to lose this game? Like Montana, you weren't in here earlier. Yeah. I thought Ohio State was going to lose up until today. Scared? No. Anxious? Very much so. Nervous?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Scared? No.
Like I've never really been scared of Ohio State. I think the last time I was scared for Ohio State to play a football game was
I don't remember when.
2014 Ohio State Alabama. I was scared about that one. But I'm not scared of our team playing this game. I'm more so anxious to see how we look
I agree.
and what we do. That's that's where I'm anxious.
I'm definitely more anxious too, and I'm just because and I've said this several times. I think these are the two most
Mhm.
talented teams. I really, really do. And when two talented teams go at it, then it typically comes down to something like coaching. And you talked about last week how you were, you know, talking about Dan Lanning out coaching Ryan Day because he did do that in that first matchup. And we've seen over the years how Ryan Day has handled big games.
Mhm.
And I can't say he's passed those tests with flying colors. So that is something that makes me anxious. The special teams make me anxious. I'm not scared of anything.
Yeah.
If Ohio State loses this game, I won't be as pissed off as I was if I would have been had they lost to Tennessee because I did not think Tennessee was good.
No.
I didn't think they were good. Oregon's good.
Yeah.
Oregon's really damn good. If they lose this game, they lost to the better team.
Yep.
That's
I'll make it. I'll be plain and simple about it.
yep.
I will be plain and simple about it.